Boot Crew Media coming at you from Levi Stadium over here in Santa Clara. Another game the Saints could have won. They didn't win. Just when you think this couldn't get any worse for the Saints, Sunday happened, right? You get shut out for the first time since 2001. Nothing went right. I mean, you had some things defensively that looked good, right? And I thought that they played extremely well. I mean, limiting San Francisco to just 13 points is a huge win, right? But offensively, 2 fumbles by some of your biggest players, or by your biggest player on offense, and then false start penalty on a guy like Ryan Ramczyk. I mean, this is just maddening. I just don't know. It's just another winnable game the Saints had within their grasp to get to 5-7 potentially, and you had Atlanta lose, you had Tampa lose, and you can't put a single point up on the board. Again, first time that's happened since 2001, coincidentally, against the 49ers. It's getting tiring talking about losses, but let's talk a little bit about kind of some of the things that went well. I think Caden Ellis looked fantastic. He's a guy that, look, you cannot not get him snaps next year, just the way he's playing. I think as far as, defensively, guys like Paulson Adebo are going to have to continue to perform at a high level, something that just really continues to shine through. People made a lot about, hey, why isn't Alontae Taylor playing? But the plan for Dennis Allen was all along to have him and Bradley Roby, who returned from injury, to rotate here. And so, look, I think it works. It works until it doesn't, right? And again, a guy like Paulson Adebo, he's looking good. Pass rush just wasn't able to get really home today, even with getting guys like Cam Jordan back, Marcus Davenport back, But I think the defense battled well. I think the defense did enough from their end to win a game. And again, of course, you can't talk about defense and bad breaks without talking about the penalty that wiped away Alontae Taylor's big interception in the second half to start out. Legal contact penalty on Chris Harris Jr. I mean, I know he had the one real bad one that was after the play. That's inexcusable. The illegal contact penalty, that's a tough one. Took away interception. That's a shame. And that's just kind of how this whirlwind of the season has gone for the Saints team, is that you do so many pretty good things, but this is a team that just doesn't have the luxury of making any mistakes or missing at any point in their season. And unfortunately, led to another loss, 4-8. Again, mathematically, yeah, you're kind of in that division race. If you win against Tampa, things change. If you can win against Atlanta, things do change. But man, it's tough to look at the schedule the way it falls and look at efforts like today and just how this team is just really snake bitten or whatever the case may be, and trying to say, man, I think they can win, do some things and get into the playoffs. I just take it if they could win a game, put back-to-back wins. They haven't done that this year under Dennis Allen. That's crazy. And offensively, the overturn call to Chris Olave, what I don't understand is the fact that you called it a catch on the field. Now, if it had been one thing if they just ruled it incomplete, they called it a catch, so they saw conclusive evidence to overturn it. And man, that's a tough one. And there were other opportunities. When you look at one of those goal-to-go situations, I mentioned that Jarvis Landry was in pre-snap. They subbed him out for Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill gets called on his number. You got to make those catches. Jarvis Landry, yeah, I get there was maybe an interference call that should have been called in the end zone, but the turnovers and the missed opportunities. Will Lutz misses a 48-yard field goal. That's another miss for him this year. That's a bad look too. But totally blanked. And this team has got to find answers. And again, it's just at this point, it's hard to watch, right? And you got the talent, I feel like, in a lot of areas. The coaching has been a little bit on the rocks. I think the coordinators, as far as the calling on offense, again, this is a game where the defense did everything they needed to, limiting a high-powered San Francisco offense to just 13 points in the game. And they took away a lot of their big weapons, right? You had Juwan Jennings making the most plays. It wasn't Brandon Ayuk. It wasn't, Christian McCaffrey necessarily. It wasn't George Kittle. It wasn't Deebo Samuel. And, offensively, you've got some good plays. I thought they were marching down the field really well. But this Saints team, sum it up, down to 4-8. You know, you can look at it one of two ways. There's 5 games left in the year. There's 5 games left in the year. That's kind of how it looks at right now. And you know, hopefully they put forth a better effort on Monday Night Football against the Buccaneers. Remains to be seen. But you know, look, another tough loss for the Saints team. They're doing it a lot more lately, and hopefully this isn't a precursor to next year or next season. Hopefully they can put some things together, but after today, after what we've seen in losses, this team just cannot, if they have any phase of their game that misfires, they can't win. That's just how they are. They cannot win unless all 3 of the phases, offense, defense, and special teams, clicks for them. What you saw today, and that's been a common theme in every loss that they've had. We'll talk about this more, I'm sure, but for Good Crew Media, I'm John Hendricks signing out. Thanks.